Did the Old Testament Endorse Slavery? By Dr. Joshua Bowen. Most questions concerning the Bible lack a simple answer, and this one is no exception. The topic is complex, but luckily, the book is not. Dr. Josh has a gift for delivering information to the masses, and you won't need a PhD in ancient history to understand the context, or the ability to read ancient Hebrew to know what the text actually says. All of that information is laid out simply and plainly in his book. People on both sides of this topic have a tendency to misrepresent the Bible and its contents. Atheists tend to say that the Bible is referencing antebellum slavery, while Christian apologists claim it's only speaking of indentured servitude. So, who is right? As Dr. Josh points out, they both are. The problem is that the Hebrew word for servant and the word for slave are in fact the same word. So Dr. Josh examines each reference to explore the context. How are the people being treated in the individual verses that discuss slavery? In the opening chapter, you'll find a carefully described definition of chattel slavery and debt slavery to help identify each within the Old Testament, and it supplies verses in books like Genesis and Leviticus to provide examples to support each of these two definitions. The two types of slavery are covered in greater detail. Different rules govern the treatment of each group of slaves. The acquirement and release of each are also different. So is the treatment of the slaves while they're in their owner's household. The rights of chattel slaves are compared and contrasted with the rights of debt slaves. And yes, slaves in the Old Testament did have a list of rights to protect them from ill treatment. But don't get your hopes up. The Slave Bill of Rights couldn't be considered progressive, not even from Bronze Age standards. Speaking of the Bronze Age, this book also outlines comparable guidelines concerning slavery from other Near Eastern civilizations in order to put the Old Testament law code firmly in its context. The comparable law codes, such as the Hammurabi Code, prove crucial in understanding the nature of the biblical law as it pertains to slavery in the ancient world. But the book doesn't stop there. It goes on to address many of the common arguments against the idea that the Bible prohibits the ownership of humans as property, citing examples from the text itself to clear up any confusion concerning each of these arguments. In short, this book not only answers the question, does the Old Testament endorse slavery? It also provides explanations and the context to help the reader understand each facet of the topic and how the Hebrew law code fit well within what was expected from Near Eastern civilizations. If you've ever read any of the relevant passages and you couldn't determine where the Bible actually stands on the subject, perhaps because the text may have been interpreted or translated a certain way in your copy of the Bible, then this book will be crucial in clearing up that confusion. But even if your version of the Bible is quite clear, there are still contradictions to be found, and Dr. Bowen's book can easily untangle that web as well. So, who is this book for, and would I recommend it? If you're looking to learn more about the topic of slavery in the ancient world, especially in ancient Israel, or you just want to know the ins and outs of what the Bible actually says on the topic of slavery, then I would absolutely recommend this book. It's an easy read which doesn't require any prior knowledge on the topic in order to grasp the information that's being presented. It's quick, easy, and accessible, and yet thorough and detailed. I hope this review helps,